There is one thing that has always been an inevitability for poor kids wanting to cosplay as rich kids, and that is luxury resale. Yeah, with luxury products increasing in price by 64% over the past 5 years, gray old stock might as well be the next GameStop-style Wall Street bets play. And before you say,
"Boo-hoo, things are more expensive, duh,"
the rate of inflation overall is 22% in the same period, so luxury pricing is outpacing inflation by 3 times. So unless you're a silver spoon MFer suckling at the trust fund teat, you're going down the resale addiction rabbit hole. It starts innocent. You just want to grab a Supreme shirt, but damn, $50 for a t-shirt? So you pop over to Depop and find one of dubious origin for $25. And sure, maybe it is fake, but it's 2017 and you're too dumb to know any better or care. But before long, the habit starts growing. You're buying a Gosha piece for $100 because Lil Peep wore it in an interview once. You're paying $150 for a Balenciaga tee because that's what everyone's wearing, so it must be cool, right? You've got 8 tabs of old season Rick Owens stairs open, lowballing dudes because you're all about copping the crop. And suddenly, you find yourself sitting on your couch in the year of our Lord 2024 trying to find underpriced Japanese archive pieces on the RealReal because their photography sucks, but their loss is your gain because maybe that piece with photos blacker than Jesus himself is actually a dope archival grail that everyone else overlooked. You see, the RealReal, they do a thing with their photos called crushing the blacks. Like, it makes stuff look cleaner, sure, but at the expense of actually being able to see the clothes. Like, Jesus fucking Christ, guys, just bring up those blacks. And if you find yourself at this level of resale addiction, there's a certain class of subhumans that you're bound to come across. Professional luxury resellers. Disclaimer, I am an avid online reseller myself, so I use subhuman affectionately. Because if you're really down bad with a luxe habit, eventually you're going to want the finer things. You're going to say to yourself, you know what? I do need that enfant riche de pre-made dog collar. I don't own a dog, but maybe I will someday. Maybe I'm the dog. Or perhaps you just need that Chrome Hearts Zippo lighter in your life. Do you smoke? Does it matter? It looks cool. If you're looking for these rare pieces from hype brands, you are essentially guaranteed to come across the big resellers, even if you haven't realized it. The idea of a luxury reselling isn't new by any means. There are a number of consignment houses that have made a name for themselves over the past couple decades, but the concept probably hit a fever pitch around the time of the pandemic with the sneaker and streetwear hype beast phase. Now, not everybody was into the luxury brands back then, but everyone knew Nike. Almost everyone knew Supreme. Off-White was heating up. If you were really looking to ball out, maybe you were going for like a Supreme LV collab piece or some chunky Gucci sneakers, but we were all stuck inside in the pandemic, scrolling on our phones, inundated with information about Nike Dunks and Supreme collabs that were selling out instantly. And here were all these guys out there. They were claiming to get rich using bots to hoover up all the supply and turn an instant profit as the Nike sneakers app and Supreme web store got overloaded to the point of collapse. And that era is kind of nostalgic, but also kind of gross to look back on, I'm afraid to say though. But somehow it has gotten worse because a bunch of hypebeasts, myself included, caught the bug back then. We needed bigger and bigger scores to get our dopamine receptors singing like Kate Bush on Running Up That Hill. We turned to luxury designers. But eventually even luxury didn't do it. We needed exclusivity. We needed the pieces that no one else could get their grubby little hands on. We wanted the rare ERD sample or Chrome Hearts oddity that Instagram photo pages desperately curate. And if you look around the world of luxury resellers, there are a few names that pop up again and again, and perhaps leading the pack is Justin Reed. Now, you may see this guy and think, what's a late 2000s fixed gear bike riding motherfucker doing selling $10,000 Chrome one-offs? But don't let his appearance fool you, the dude is running the preeminent luxury consignment empire. For the most part, I admire what Justin Reed does. He gets really cool stock and seems to charge like about what the market will bear for those pieces. Do I get ass mad when he puts up a new ERD piece that's outside my price range? Yeah, but he's probably charging that because there are real people out there willing to pay it. And then there is Luke Freitscher of Luke's, the creatively named New York luxury resale spot. And the dude makes some of the dadliest dad jokes I've ever seen about his stuff on Instagram, but generally I find it endearing. To me, he has the vibes of like a true old school reseller where he's looking to buy stuff as cheap as he can and then mark it up as little as possible so that the inventory moves and he doesn't have to sit on a bunch of stuff that he can't get rid of. And for that reason, his stock is usually like a little bit more boring than guys like Justin Reed, but if you're looking to get a good price on some nice low or mid-tier designer stuff, you really can't go wrong there. But there is one person I really want to talk about in this video. One person who makes grown men weep and whine due to his practices, his prices, and just his general vibe. I want to talk about the internet's most hated reseller. He calls himself
4G.
Or if you're on Grailed, you probably know him as 4G Seller. Now, if you're only vaguely aware of him, it's probably for his insane prices on rare chrome hearts and ERD pieces or archival Eddie Slama. All of those are known for being expensive regardless, but he marks his stuff up to the point of comedy. So who is this guy? Well, his real name is Vincent Ferraro, and he seemingly entered the scene as a manager of a hip New York nightclub type spot. Now, that is your first clue as to how this guy operates because he comes from a high-end hospitality background, so you need to filter all of his actions through that lens. So a few years ago, he transitioned to marketing himself as the highest of high-end luxury resellers, opening the store 4G and selling online. And if you try to go down any rabbit hole of Reddit threads or forums on the dude, you'll find countless accusations that he's living off a trust fund, but I didn't find any actual evidence of that, so take that for what you will. Actually, you know what? Let's just rattle off all of the common complaints that I have found about 4G in my research. Number 1, he charges absurd prices for everything. It seems like his prices have no basis in reality, and this is probably the most defensible claim because you can go to his Grail and use your eyes and common sense to confirm it. Number 2, Grailed props him up and gives him undeserved attention. Number 3, he sells fake chrome hearts. You'll see this in pretty much every thread about him. Number 4, he treats his non-celebrity customers like trash. Number 5, he bought all of the ERD goth girl hoodies to control the market for them. And finally, number 6, he met Eddie Slama, and that sucks because he's a poser and really I, the random Reddit poster, should have been able to meet Eddie instead. I want to take these like one by one because they're all super interesting, and we'll go in reverse order here. So he probably met Eddie because he's connected. Did I mention this dude is the designer plug to the stars? When you surround yourself with this many famous people, this much money, this many rare pieces, it's gonna open doors. Is he the most authentic Eddie Slama fan who deserved to meet him the most? No, but like, what is this? You have to be a Make-A-Wish kid to meet your favorite designers? No, things just generally happen through networking, and this one feels like whining to me. Alright, did 4G buy all of the infamous enfant riche déprimé goth girl suck soul through dick hoodies? Yes, that's a real hoodie, and it's sick actually, just so you know. I have no idea if he did that. He does seem to have a larger stockpile of those hoodies than anyone else and kind of controls the market for it, thus making it maybe the most valuable ERD piece from recent seasons. On the one hand, I think that sucks. It's the type of fashion gatekeeping that gets the comment sections frothing at the mouth. Would I like to buy one of those hoodies for less than a used mid-2000s Volvo? Absolutely. But someone said Drake bought one of those hoodies from him recently, so clearly his strategy worked to some degree. One thing this does get into is his connections. Does 4G do this with ERD's blessing, or even their assistance in some way? It's a big conspiracy. I have no idea. One thing we do know is that 4G is publicly connected to the Stark family, the owners of Chrome Hearts, so there is seemingly some nepotism there. Is that the right word? Maybe just unjustified king-making is the right phrase, but if I could become besties with a Stark kid and get all of the weirdest, coolest Chrome pieces to resell at a profit, would I do it? Of course I would. I'd sell my soul for that, but unfortunately a goth girl already sucked that through my dick, so. Next, does he treat his non-celebrity customers like trash? What's the evidence here? Well, people claim to be blocked for offering him market value for pieces. They say that he either doesn't post measurements or posts incorrect measurements and is just an aloof or worse combative presence in the resale game. Now, I've never had any interactions with the dude firsthand, so I can't say personally, but I find the claims believable. But there is a potential explanation. It's all part of the game he's playing. If this dude could only serve famous clients, I think he would, but you can't get those clients without a profile, and the best way he's found to raise that profile is to publicly flex the most absurd price stuff imaginable. So the side these commenters are getting of 4G is kind of just the marketing. And deep down, don't you think all of these people secretly want the status that would get them treated well by 4G, like they were a star? Damn right they do. Or maybe he just gets off on being a dick, and if so, that sucks. Okay, next up is a big one, maybe the biggest specific complaint people make about him. Pretty much every time his name comes up, there's someone there to say he's whack because he's charging these crazy prices for fake Chrome Heart stuff. They say he gets it off Japanese auction sites and then sells it here as if it's the real thing. Here's the thing though, I found zero evidence for that. But it's not like the evidence never existed. It's kind of weird. I've seen people mention shadowy, now deleted Instagram accounts that have exposed him. I've seen threads that originally had evidence, but have since been deleted or scrubbed of any specificity. I've seen forum moderators lock down discussion of him selling fakes. There are a few potential explanations in my mind here. Maybe people figured out they were wrong and deleted the allegations. Maybe the internet is just doing what the internet does and photos and forum threads get lost or degraded over time. Or on the more conspiratorial side, maybe 4G is using his connections to get moderators to scrub any mention of him selling reps. Or finally, maybe he's a litigious individual and some unsuspecting commenters have been on the wrong side of a phone call from a hypebeast lawyer. It may be some of these things, all of them, or none of them. If he really does sell a significant amount of fake stuff, I hope he stops, gets his accounts deleted, whatever. But on the other hand, every large reseller gets fooled sometimes. If you sell enough luxury, eventually someone will flip something by your legit checks. Many commenters mentioned alerting 4G to fakes he was selling, which he supposedly quietly deleted. They say this like it's a gotcha, but that's exactly what I would do. Actually, I have done exactly that. I once listed a fake on Grailed, not knowing it was fake. A dude messaged me to let me know, and I took it down without saying a word. What do they expect the dude to do? Shout from the rooftops, "I sell fake Chrome Hearts by accident sometimes." I don't know, maybe that would be the most upstanding thing to do, but it seems a bit unreasonable to expect. Now, one thing people really don't like is how much 4G gets glazed by Grailed, the popular resale platform, and it's true. Grailed has done profiles and video content on Ferraro. They feature his pieces on the homepage all the time and highlight his stuff regularly on their Instagram. To me, it's a double-edged sword. On the one hand, Grailed loves to brag about all the expensive shit that sells on their platform. They even put out a report on the biggest sales made every month, and 4G is like catnip for stuff like this. It makes people look at Grailed as the place to go for the rarest stuff, and it raises their profile. But on the other hand, the core of Grailed is much more low-end, fast-moving stuff. That's their bread and butter, that's where they make their money. I guarantee you they sell 100 times more used Rick Geo baskets than they do Chrome Hearts oddities. So while propping up this absurdly expensive seller goes against the main business of the site, it's kind of like, I don't know, like Dodge. They'll make the wild, expensive Hellcat, and it'll make headlines, it'll get attention, it'll even sell above MSRP. But Dodge doesn't make their money off those. They make their money off darts and shit. But the Hellcats serve a useful marketing purpose. I do wish Grailed would somehow rein it in though. They have no policy in place, I don't think, that would make this possible, but to me it seems like 4G almost uses his Grailed as an archive page, like those Instagram accounts that post their collections and say, "not for sale" on everything in the caption. Like, 4G is not on Grailed to actually sell stuff. At least it doesn't feel like it to me. And Grailed is supposed to be a site for selling stuff, so for me, his listings are just an annoyance that clogs up the real business that I'm trying to do there, but it seems like he's there to stay. Okay, last but certainly not least, like the opposite of least, are his prices. Scroll his page and you'll see price tags so humorous that you might as well be watching Ace Ventura 2 When Nature Calls. Yeah, the one where he bursts himself out of a rhino. That's how funny 4G pricing is. Listen, I'll just scroll the greatest hits here. Yes, get all your yucks out. Laugh at how delusional this guy is. Yeah, now let me just say first here, for the love of God, please don't buy any of this stuff at these prices. You'd be better off putting your money into Justin Bieber in-betweeners NFTs, those like off-brand Bored Apes that he made back in the day. Really, the worst part of all this is that he is publicly listing pieces with these prices on Grailed, because it's just not the right market for him. Remember how I told you to think of him as high-end hospitality? Instead of looking at 4G as a store, think of him as a stylist, a hookup. If you're a rapper and you need an outfit worth at least $100K for your music video shoot like right now, 4G has got you. If you're an NBA player in need of a tunnel fit for tomorrow's game, he's got you. If you're a wealthy son of like an Asian mega CEO looking for stuff you can't find anywhere else, he's got you. And if you were any of the people I just mentioned, you would pay a premium to have somebody looking out for you, because that would mean you don't have to sift through the bullshit. You don't have to play games with wannabe resale moguls, and you know that literally everything he's got is fire. He's not gonna let you walk out with just some whack shit. All of that is valuable to high net worth people. The reason you're probably mad about it is because you're not a high net worth individual, and when you're on the outside looking in, it's real easy to see the ooze of late stage capitalism that's all over this world. So 4G is out there. He's apparently selling ERD to Drake. He's pretending Vetmont is ripping him off and printing his own rip-off Chrome Hearts text over their hoodies like he's bossy or something. He's doing all of this because it's not for you. And that's how it's designed from the ground up. You are meant to be on the outside looking in because that makes the inside all the more inviting to the people he actually wants to be doing business with. You know, I went into this video thinking it was gonna be a dunk fest on 4G. Straight up. I find his prices so insulting. I find his presence kind of cringe. I find the styles that he promotes a little bit grating, and I think his reworked vintage and designer stuff is super wannabe bullshit. He is just so easy to hate. But as I went through, I realized that there is a method to his madness. And it is madness, believe me. He's serving his market in the only way he knows how, and it's seemingly working. You'll probably never see me buying anything from 4G. I think he's a parasite on the designers and markets that I like to follow, but can you really blame a brainworm for doing what a brainworm does? It's just evolution, survival of the fittest. They'll burrow their way in and suck you dry because that's what they were born to do. Alright, that's all I've got. Let me know it down below what you think about 4G, about luxury reselling, this entire game. It's real interesting. Make sure you do all this engagement stuff that helps me in the YouTube algorithm, and I'll see you next time. Peace.